So that was like a perfect song. Because what we're talking about is an awakening. We're talking about a letting go. I mean, that is what this series is about. I came up with the idea for the series on a book by David Hawkins about surrender. And the reason why is that I have discovered over the many years that I've been alive, and certainly the years of my spiritual journey, that this is a journey of letting go. That, we talk about a spiritual awakening and having this great white light, or we come to church and we feel really good. But what happens is that we don't realize that over the years, we get covered. We get covered up by the stuff of the world. And last week I talked about the golden Buddha, which is about a Buddha that was covered with dirt so that the people who were invading would not know what it was worth. And over the years, people forgot that there was a golden Buddha there. And one day, some children are playing, and they see a little bit of light coming, and so they start chipping away, and what they find is the golden Buddha. Well, folks, we are all the golden Buddha. In unity, we say we're the Christ, we're the divine. But what happens to us? The world, from the time that we can remember, starts telling us differently. It starts telling us things like we're not enough, or maybe we're not smart enough, or maybe we don't have the right parents, or we don't have enough money, or whatever. And we begin to believe that as the truth. So we come into unity, and unity says that we're divine. And we go, yes, we're divine. But that divinity is often, we don't realize it is covered up by all this other negative stuff. And so the great gardener, which you can call God the great gardener, has to prune us and get rid of all that dead stuff in order for us to bloom and be who we truly are. So it's all about letting go. So over the years, I talk a lot about letting go, and people will say to me, they'll go, well, how do you let go? I never knew what to tell them. I go, how do you let go? I'd say, oh, you just pray, let go. But you know what? Sometimes you pray, let go, and guess what? You don't let go. Or you don't let go of what you need to let go of. And you're like, well, that didn't work. And people keep saying, let go, let go, let go, God, let go, let God. So you're praying, let go, let God, and nothing is happening. And that is because we don't even realize what we need to let go of. We do not know what we need to let go of. Because what it is that we are a bit made up of our feelings. And we don't want to feel our feelings. We say in unity that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And if you try and control your thoughts, you're going to have a hard time. Because in our mind, thousands of thoughts go through like every minute. We don't even know half the thoughts that are going through our mind. But there have been scientific proof done that our thoughts are really controlled by our feelings. And our feelings we can work on. Now, what happens with our feelings, over the years we have feelings and we tend to not like them. Sometimes the feeling is very good, but a lot of times our feelings are not so good. So we do one of three things. We suppress or repress them. And suppress means that we push them down. And we aren't even aware that we're doing it. Or we repress them, meaning we know that we're pushing them down. Or we express them. We kind of express them at the wrong time, in the wrong place, to the wrong person. So one time I was having a conversation with my husband, Christopher, and I don't know, I said something to him, and he looked at me and he went, I am not your ex-husband. And I went, whoa, because what I realized and what he saw was that I was reacting not at all, having anything at all to do what was happening, but something triggered something from my ex-husband, and my poor present husband had to suffer from it. And that's what happens sometimes. We express our feelings to the wrong person, right? Because they're built up and they need to come out. Or we escape, so the other thing is we escape. Now, I am the queen of escape. I have been escaping my entire life. I have tried to run from feelings, and guess what? It doesn't work. So most recently, my husband passed. I was filled with grief. Grief is a feeling. It is a real feeling. Sadness is a feeling. We feel it, and it's uncomfortable to feel it, right? We don't want to feel that. It makes us like, and so what do? I travel, I leave California and go as far as I can go across the country. Guess what? Trying to escape the feelings I was having. And you know what? Wherever we go, there we are. So I had my car packed up with all my belongings, and guess what was in there? Hidden in all those belongings were all my feelings. So when I unpacked my car, guess what else got unpacked? My feelings. I didn't feel any less sad. Now I was on the other side of the country, and I had let go of things I really didn't want to let go of, the church and my other job and my home, and I'm in recovery and my AA group and all of that. I let go of all that, trying to run from feelings, and the feelings came with me anyway. So guess what? How do you let go of feelings? Because feelings are normal, but when they take over and they control us, we really need to do something about it. And so he gives a mechanism for letting go. And he also talks about the fact that when we are suppressing these feelings, we don't realize it, but they're weighing us down. And so we go through life and we feel like there's this burden on us, and we can't figure out what it is. And what it is, it's all these feelings we've been stuffing at us. So years ago, I had a therapist, and she was more like a spiritual mentor. She was unbelievable. And she was talking to me about letting go. And I'm like, I don't get this letting go. And this is before I believed in a God. So she said, I want you to take 2 weights, and I want you to walk about a mile around the block holding the weights. I thought, all right, it sounds crazy, but I was desperate. I was a mess, more of a mess than I am now. I was desperate. So I took these weights and I'm walking around, and they're getting heavier and heavier. And I'm walking, and the walk is getting harder and harder. And I finished the walk and I put it down, and I felt like $1 million because I didn't have this weight. And so when I wanted to see her again, she said to me, well, how did it go? I said, well, it's amazing. When I let go of those weights, I felt really good. She said, aha. When you let go of what you're holding on to, guess what? You're going to feel really good too. But it's a slow process because we have been pushing these things down, folks. For me, 80 years I've been pushing them down. They're really in there. So the only way, David Hawkins says, to really let go of these feelings is we have to let them come up and feel them. Oh, I don't want to feel those feelings. I've worked all those years suppressing them. You mean the only way I can let them go is to let them come out and feel them? So years ago, my husband told me something had come up in his life, and he was really angry, and he was doing all meditating and praying and chanting and, whatever you can do, and he couldn't get rid of the anger. So he decided, I'm just going to feel this anger. So he sat down, and he just let himself be angry. Man, he let it all come up. And you know what happened? The anger went away. And it went away. Whatever was making him angry was gone. So some years later, I'm at a Buddhist center meditating. I'm in a silent retreat for a month. Now, in this place of pure beauty and peace and calm and great food and a beautiful environment, I get filled with anxiety. I have never felt anxiety in my life before that. And I am so anxious, and everybody is in silence. And I don't know what to do with this anxiety. It's like really eating at me. So it was lunchtime, so I went to eat. Because food is a very good way to stuff your feelings. At least for me it is. And the better the food, the more it seems to stuff those feelings down. And the food here was very good. So I figured I could stuff these feelings. Well, I ate a lot. But guess what? I still was feeling this way. So I thought I'll go out and walk in the woods. That always works. So I go out and I walk in the woods, and I'm still feeling this anxiety, and I don't even know what it's about. And finally I decided I'm going to go into the meditation room because nobody was there. It was still lunchtime. And I'm just going to do what Christopher suggested. So I sat there in the meditation room on the cushion, and I just started feeling anxious. I just felt filled with anxiety. I just was like miserable. And then something happened. And all of a sudden, the anxiety was gone. You know, I could not eat it away. I couldn't run it away. I just had to let it be. So we need to learn to do this with our feelings. But we don't want to do this. But think about it. Do you want to be a golden Buddha, or do you want to be filled with dirt and clay and all of that? And these feelings are going to keep coming up until we get rid of them completely. So there's a course that I had done here, and it's called Keys to the Kingdom. And the author talks about the fact that, you know, feelings are like, what happens is we tend to bury them alive. We think we're burying them and suppressing them dead, but they're really alive when we're putting them in there. And so what happens is they're in there alive but sleeping. Something on the outside happens. It's always an outside trigger that we want to blame. But what it really does is it wakes up that feeling. And all of a sudden, that feeling that we put down there dead comes up and haunts us. So he said the only way to solve that is to make sure when you put that feeling in there, it is dead. So I had a friend the other day who called me up, and she was having this reaction of something that happened. And she said, you know, I know it's not that. It's because my family did this to me and everything, and I'm reacting on this based on this, and I'm feeling this. And I said, you know, that's because you took all that stuff that happened to you as a child, and you just suppressed it. But you suppressed it alive, and you have to kill it. I said, you know, it was like in Miami when Hurricane Andrew happened. We lived in a place, and there were woods behind where we lived, and all the trees were gone. Well, the trees were home for the rats, because rats love woods. And so the rats were looking for a new home. Well, some of the rats somehow discovered our dryer thing that went outside, you know, and decided, oh, here's like a nice place to make a home. And so they come in and they start reproducing in our walls. Now, this was like a movie, a horror movie. So these rats are getting more and more intense, and there's more and more of them. And they're doing things like I had in my pantry, I had a box of like baking chocolate. They had ripped off the top, pulled out the chocolate. It must have been, I don't know how big they were, you know, to get to the chocolate. So I got these big Tupperware containers, the really thick ones, and I put all the food in there. And the next day I saw their teeth marks on it. You know, they're trying to get in there. They're scurrying around. They're making a lot of noise. They're getting more and more. And we had called an exterminator. But, you know, my husband and I, that time we were vegetarians, we're vegan now, and we don't like to kill anything. So Christopher says to the exterminator, he says, we don't want to kill the rats. We just want to catch them and send them to another home. So he puts out these traps to live bait, you know, live traps. And he catches a few of them, but he can't catch them fast enough, then they're multiplying. And one night, it was really bad. I had a friend who was living with me, and so we're in my room, she and I in the bed with my dog, who was as scared of these rats as we were. We're all on top of the bed, because these rats, you can hear them running all over the place. And Christopher was at a retreat center, and so I called up Christopher, and I said, I don't care if that exterminator has to take a gun and shoot those things. I want them dead. I want them gone. I don't want to hear them. I don't want to know about them. We're going to a motel, and when those rats are gone, I'm coming back in this house. And I don't really care humane or not humane, because this is getting out of. So I said to this friend of mine, I said, you know, your old feelings are like those rats. They just get in there, and they just make a mess of everything. And you're trying to be really nice and bury them alive and send them off to the ethers, and you're praying about it. God, please send these feelings so they go somewhere. And meanwhile, they're just getting bigger and bigger and more, and you don't understand why your prayers aren't working. I said to her, you need to get your spiritual gun out and shoot those things. I said, I want you to feel all those feelings you're feeling to your family and just visually kill them. And so she said, I'm going to try that. So she sends me a gratitude list. And that night she sends me a gratitude list. And one of the things in her gratitude list was she said, I killed a rat today. She said, so now whenever she thinks about all this stuff from her past, she thinks about them as rats. And one by one, she's going to kill them. Folks, we cannot be the golden Buddha when we're constantly filling ourselves with garbage. That, this is who we think, that's who we are, but we're not. We think, in unity, we talk all about, the Christ within and divinity within and all of this, but we don't believe it. We might believe it to other people. We want to see the divinity in you. Namaste, the divinity in me sees the divinity in you. But guess what? If you don't see the divinity in you, how are you going to see it in someone else? You wouldn't recognize it if you fell over it, because you don't know what it looks like. So we have to constantly be pruned, and we constantly have to work on this because they will keep coming up. Our feelings will control our thoughts. It isn't the other way around. And until we deal with the feelings, the thoughts are just going to keep coming up. And we were all created to be who we are to be. We're created to be love and light and grace and all this wonderful stuff in the world. We're created to be compassionate. We're created to be giving. We're created to be all of that. And what keeps us from that? Sometimes we are. Sometimes we are the walking golden Buddha, right? Sometimes we are the Christ in the world until that guy cuts us off. Or we're in an express line and someone is there with 15 items instead of 12 because we've counted them. And we know how many items they have. And we know they're 2 items over. And all of a sudden, we're not the golden Buddha so much. We're like, you have 15 items. And the thing says 12. You're in the wrong line. You get out of this line and you go on to another line. I'm going to report you, Or we get caught up in traffic and we're like, all of a sudden, rage road. Where's that rage road? Usually it's not the person who cut us off. It's something else that we're reacting to. And that person cut us off at the wrong time. And they get it all, and hopefully they are not also suffering from some feelings they put down. And, I'll tell you, in Miami, there was a time when you had to be really careful about road rage because people would take out guns and shoot you. So before you put your finger out there, you better make sure that person doesn't have a gun. So you're putting your finger out and they're putting a gun out. It was really bad. So we have to deal with these feelings once and for all. We can't suppress them. And then we remember who we are. And it has been proven that it's not just us like that, but animals also. Animals, you take a pet and you give it love and comfort, and what happens? They become such a wonderful pet. But you take the same pet and you mistreat it. And all of a sudden, they're biting people, they're barking, they're doing whatever. So I love movies, and no surprise to anyone who knows me. And one of my favorite movies of all times is Seabiscuit. And Seabiscuit is about a racehorse. And this horse has been mistreated. It has been so mistreated, it doesn't know whether it's coming or going. And this man, Howard, his last name is Howard, who has also been through tragedy in his life. His son gets killed at a young age. He decides in a car accident, so he was a car manufacturer, got rid of all the cars and he replaced them with horses. And he decided he wanted to race a horse. So he's looking for a horse and he's looking for a manager. And he finds this guy, old guy, who nobody wants, But he hears him talking to a horse, and he goes, oh, I want him for my manager. Anyway, they find this horse, Seabiscuit. And Seabiscuit has been mistreated. And, you know, he has potential. They know he has potential. And so the scene we're going to see, they have him out, and he's racing, and he's fast. But the horse doesn't know what he is because he's been so mistreated that he's running all over this place. And they're trying to figure out how to get this horse to remember who the horse really is. And this is the scene.
Seems pretty fast.
Yeah, in every direction. Well, he's so beat up, it's hard to tell what he's like. I just can't help feeling they got him so screwed up running in a circle, he's forgotten what he was born to do. He just needs to learn how to be a horse again.
Well, how do you do that?
How far do you want me to take him?
Till he stops.
Okay. That seems like a pretty good ride.
Hope so.
Who we are. And the only way, like Seabiscuit, he had to run, we have to work on getting rid of those feelings that are blocking us from truly knowing who we are. And it isn't an easy thing. But just like Seabiscuit, when we can get rid of some of those feelings and we can truly bloom and become who we are, we're so much freer. We're so much better off. We're happier because we're truly who we are. So I invite you to close your eyes for a minute because it's not easy looking at those feelings. There's a reason we've suppressed them or repressed them. There's a reason we run from them. There's a reason that we express them to the wrong person at the wrong time. It's because the last thing we want to do is just feel them. Feel the pain. Feel whatever it is that we've been trying to block. Let it come out. And then kill it. So it's not going to keep coming up. And we're not going to do all of the things at one time. We're going to take it one feeling, one rat at a time. And the more that we work on this, the more that we're willing to work on it, the closer we get to remembering who we truly are. The golden Buddha, the Christ, created in the image and likeness of God. And for that, truth of our being. We say thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
What do I want my day to be? I choose. What do I want to feel today? I choose. What do I want to be today? I choose. I choose, I choose, I choose.